Hello guys. So in this session we are going to learn how to deploy Helm chart on AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD. So as you can see, this is my GitLab repository. So here, as you can see, this is my article. So we are going to follow this article. So first of all, here you can see we are going to deploy Helm chart on AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD. So let's start with prerequisites. So first of all, we need a GitLab account. So as you can see here in my GitLab account, here this is my repository with the name deploy Helm chart on AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD. Now the next prerequisite is we need a EKS cluster access, right? So here I have successfully created EKS cluster with access. Then we need a GitLab runner. So here I have already installed GitLab runner on this my instance, as well as then I have already installed Helm. So if you want to check, then you can run Helm version and you can check the details of about your Helm. So as you can see here, I have already installed Helm, right? Now the next is here we need a Helm chart with updated files. So we will create our Helm chart with update files, right? So as of now, we have GitLab account as well as we have EKS cluster, then GitLab runner, and then pre-install Helm, right? So let's start with first step. So the first step is we need a create project with GitLab. So first of all, the first step is we need to create GitLab project, right? So here, as you can see, this is my GitLab account and I have a project with the name deploy Helm chart on AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD. Now, the next step is install GitLab Agent for Kubernetes cluster. So how to install? So here you can see the steps. So first of all, before creating agent config file, let's check our agent is empty. So how to check? So first of all, go to the operates, then go to the Kubernetes clusters. Now, here as you can see there is no any agent as of now, right? If I go to the connect a cluster and if I click on this drop down, as you can see, no matching results. That means there is no any cluster as of now. So I'm going to cancel it. So let's create our agent, right? So how to? So first of all, go to the build code, then repository, and here first of all, let's check the 2.1 step, create an agent config file. So how to create? So firstly, we need to create an agent config file. So the config file location like this, .gitlab, then agents, then agent name, then config.yaml file. Okay. Then here you can see note here agent name is your EKS cluster name, right? Remember this. Agent name is your cluster name. So you can see the location like this. First of all, we need a .gitlab folder, then agents folder. In agent folder, there is a agent name. That means our cluster name. So my cluster name is sample. So here sample, and in sample there is a config.yaml file, right? So you can see here. Here, let's create file first. So click on it, new file, and add the location. So enter the file name. So first of all, gitlab, then agents, then slash your agent name. So our agent name is our EKS cluster name. So my EKS cluster name is sample. Then config.yaml file, right? Okay. So your location like this. Now let's copy the config file. Okay. So now here we need to change some files here. So which files? So as you can see in your config.yaml file, you can add this code, and here we need to change project ID, branch namespace, and then path of our file. So as you can see here, project ID. So here we need to change this with our project ID. So let's check our project ID. So how to check? So go to the project. So this is our project, right? Deploy Helm chart on AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD. So as you can see, here is our project ID, right? So let's copy the project ID here and then paste here. Okay. Now the next is we need to change branch namespace. So as you can see here, branch namespace, right? So here as of now, my NS, right? So here default namespace is my NS as of now. So here the default namespace is my NS. So here I'm going to change it default. Okay. So now the next is globe file, right? So the next is globe file. You can see next change is path globe file. So here, as you can see, as of now here I'm going to comment this globe file, because as of now we don't have any globe file, right? So that's why here I'm going to comment this line, right? After creating globe file, we need to uncomment this line. So here we made two changes: first ID, project ID, and then default namespace. So I'm going to change it default. Now let's commit changes. Okay, so this file has been successfully created. Now let's check our agent, right? So how to check? So go to the operate, then Kubernetes clusters, connect to a cluster, and here you can see our agent name. That means our EKS cluster name sample. That means we have successfully created our agent. Now select and click on register. Okay. Now after that you can see install using Helm. So now we need to run this command on our GitLab runner. That means our instance. So let's copy the command. So first of all, I'm going to run this command to add Helm repo. So first of all, we need to Helm, right? So as you can see, we have already installed Helm. So that's why I'm going to run this command directly. As you can see, GitLab has been added to a repository. Okay. Now the next command is Helm repo update. Okay. Now let's copy the command from here to here. So okay, it's done. Now let's click on close. Now the status is never connected. So let's refresh the page and let's check the status. Now as you can see the status not connected replaced with connected just now, right? So as you can see the agent ID and the last contact and the configuration file path, right? Okay. So it's done. We have successfully created our agent, right? Okay. Now, okay, it's done. Now the third step is register runner with GitLab project. So we need to register our runner, right? So if I go to my how to register runner, go to the settings, go to the CI CD. Then here you can see runners. Runners are processes that pick up and execute CI CD jobs for GitLab, right? So click on expand. And here as you can see I have already registered my runner. So if you want to register, then go to the new project runner and enter your project name and then create, and then you can run the command on your terminal. Okay, so as of now I have already registered my runner. Okay, now the next step is update your Helm chart file. So first of all, we need to create Helm chart, right? In precise, I mentioned you need a Helm chart with updated files. Okay. So first of all, we need a Helm chart. So let's create our Helm chart first. So how to create? So you know the command how to create Helm chart. So the command is helm create and your Helm chart name. So my Helm chart name will be, so here I'm going to enter my Helm chart name will be node chart. Okay. Okay. My Helm chart name will be node chart. Then click on enter. So creating node chart. So if I enter ls, so as you can see my Helm chart with the name node chart. Okay, so we have successfully created our Helm chart with the name node chart. Okay, now the next step is we need to update files of our Helm chart, right? You can see. So before creating our file, before updating our file, so first of all here I'm going to run this fifth step, how to add GitLab container registry secret in EKS. Okay, so here how to add GitLab container registry secret. So you can see how to add GitLab container registry secret in EKS deployment.yaml file. So here you can see here we need to create this registry credentials.yaml file where in our GitLab runner here. So let's copy the command. So first of all, before run this command, you can see in command kubectl create secret docker registry, then docker credential, docker server registry.gitlab.com, then docker username. So here we need to enter our username. As you can see here, we need to enter our username. Then docker password token, right? So username and token. So we need a username and token. So first of all we need to create username and token for creating our GitLab container registry secret in EKS, right? So how to create? So go to the GitLab project and here go to the settings, then go to the repository. Then here you can see deploy tokens. Deploy tokens allows access to package your repository and registry image. So click on expand. So here click on add tokens. So you enter your token name. So my token name will be EKS. So expiry date is optional, username is optional. So click on check check out these all options: read repository, read registry, write registry, read package registry, write package registry. Click on create deploy token. Now it's done. So let's copy our token, because you can see the node deploy token. So always to here use this token as a password, save it. This password cannot be recovered, so that's why I'm going to save this. So here I'm going to paste in my notepad, and then token. Okay, now let's copy the command to create, sorry, to add a GitLab registry secret in EKS. So let's copy the command and go to the EKS cluster, and here let's fill the credentials. First of all, let's enter the token here. Then your username. So here is our username. So let's enter. Okay, now let's hit enter. Now it's creating registry credentials.yaml file. So if I run the ls command, as you can see, registry credentials.yaml file. Okay, now the next step is let's run this command to apply, right? So here you can see the command, run the command to apply secret, right? So here is the command. Secret apply hyphen f and your file name. Which file name? Registry credentials.yaml file. So as you can see, secret registry credentials created, right? Okay, so we have successfully created. We have successfully add GitLab container registry secret in EKS, right? So now let's go to the this step, update Helm chart files. So we need to update our some Helm chart files. Which files? So first of all, we need to update this values.yaml file. So let's go to the Helm chart. So here's our Helm chart with the name node chart. So firstly, I'm going to clear my screen first, and let's go to the node chart file. Okay, so here if I run the ls command, so you can see there is a files. Which files? Values.yaml, templates, charts, and charts.yaml file. So here we need to update some files. So first of all, here go to the values.yaml file. So here I'm going to use my favorite editor, sudo values.yaml file. Okay, so here we need to change some tags here. So first of all, here we need to enter repository. So here we need to enter the repository. So here how to find the repository? So you can see here in repository, in image repository like this. So how to find this? So first of all, here go to the deploy, then container registry. And then if I scroll down here, you can see the path. You can add an image this registry with the following commands, right? So here I'm going to copy the path from here to here, right? So let's copy and paste here. Then here my image tag. So my tag will be latest. Okay, right. Then next is Let's check the next changes here. So here our repository, right? Then our tag latest. Okay. Now the next step is here. Scroll down here. As you can see in service, there is a cluster IP. So we need to replace with load balancer. We need to replace this load balancer. Then next is here we need to enter target port 8080 and the protocol TCP. So I need to copy it and paste here. So that's the some changes. Okay. Now the next important changes is here we need to update our YAML file because we need to we have create our secret. Which secret? Report this secret, registry secret, right? Registry credential secret. So we need to add this registry credential secret in our values.yaml file. So here I'm going to use this image pool secret and here I'm going to use this registry credentials, right? So my secret name is registry credentials. So that's why here I'm going to add this here. Okay, like this. Image pool secret and name is registry credentials. Okay, so let's save the files. So let's check once. So here I'm going to comment this tag image pool secret, right? But it's blank, so that's why I'm going to comment it. Okay. So yeah, it's correct. So let's check for once. Okay. Now let's take the file and exit. Okay. Now we have successfully updated our values.yaml file. Right. Now the next file is here. Now the next file is deployment.yaml file. So we need to update our deployment.yaml file where image pool policy here. So let's check. So let's open our deployment.yaml file. So here if I run the ls command, deployment.yaml file is in templates folder. So let's ls and let's inside our deployment.yaml file using my favorite editor nano.yaml. Okay. So now here we need to changes. So here you can see there is a here is our deployment.yaml file. So as you can see here image pool policy. Right, you can see image pool policy. So we need to changes here. So here you can see image pool policy values image pool policy values image pool policy. Okay, so you can see values image pool policy, right? Okay, that means in values.yaml file we have mentioned our secret, right? Pool image pool policy secret. So that's why here mention values pool policy. Okay. After that here we need to changes here. We changes action. So after that here we need to changes in this line. So let's change this here in container port. So I'm going to replace this values.server port into target port. So let's remove this value service.target port, right, in container port. Okay. So let's save the file and exit. Okay. It's done. Now the next file is our service.yaml file, right? So let's open our service.yaml file. Okay, so here we need to make some changes. Which changes? So first of all, here we need to make changes in target port, then protocol, and then name. Okay, so how to change? So here I have a project, so that's why I'm going to use it. Service.yaml file, right? So as you can see here, port and target port and so on. So let's copy and let's change this here. Target port, protocol, and name. Target port. Okay, sorry. Let's copy first. Target port, protocol, and name. Right? Okay. Okay. It's done. Now let's save the file. Right? So here we have made three changes. First, values.yaml file. In values.yaml file, we have changes that we have add our secret, then our registry, right? Image registry, then tag, and the TCP and the cluster IP replaced with load balancer. Then we have changed in our deployment.yaml file, right? Then service.yaml file. Okay, so that's done, right? So let's get the CD and ls. This is our node, right? Okay, now it's done. Now let's take the next step. Okay, it's done. Now, the next step is how to add GitLab registry. Okay, we have successfully add our secret. Now, the next step is add variables. Which variables? If I go to my GitLab CI.yaml file, here you can see this is our YAML file. In YAML file, you can see here in Docker login, there is a CI deploy user. That's the variable, right? So we need this variable CI deploy user, CI deploy password, this CI registry. So which password, which user? This is our tokens that we have created, right? We have created our deploy tokens. Where from here? If I go to my settings and go to the registry, and if I scroll down here, you can see deploy tokens. Deploy tokens allows access to package your repository and registry images, right? So if I click on expand, so you can see tokens. So that's token. So we need to add these variables, right? So we need to add these variables to run our this CI.yaml file. But before add these variables here, we need some files. So if I go to my repository, if I go to my repository, as of now, there is only two files, right? So first of all, we need to add files here, which files package.json file, then docker file, then server.js file. We need this file because we need to access our image. So that's why we need to create our image first, right? So that's why here we need these three files. So let's create our three files. So click on new files. So here I have project. So here I'm going to use these files. So let's create package.json file first. So if you want to understand, if you want to learn the details in your agent, how to create agent, and how to create, how to add this image, right? Then you can check my previous video, previous session. In this, I have shared that official site of GitLab agent, how to create agent, right? Official site. So you can check this session and you can check the details about how to create agent and how to set it. Okay, so you can check my previous session. So you can got the official site. Okay, so that's our package.json file. Now next is let's create our deploy docker file. We need these three files because here docker file is mandatory, right? Then here we need an image, right? So we need to create our image in our server.js file, otherwise you can use as well as index.js file, but yeah, I'm going to use server.js file. Okay, this is my file. I have created this file, so that's why I'm going to use this. So in dockerfile you can see create app directory and work directory and so on, right? The details. Some changes. Okay. Now the next file is our server.js file, right? Here. So let's enter server.js file. Let's enter the details. You can see the host port 8080, right? And const host is 0.0.0.0. That means any IP address, right? Okay. So now you can see the send request hello world. That means our app in our image there is a hello world, right? When we access our image in browser, when we successfully deploy Helm Chart on EKS, then we will access in browser, then we will get this hello world, right? Okay. So click on commit changes. Okay. Now we have successfully created our three files, which package.json, docker file, and server.js file. Okay. Now here in terminal, if I go to my terminal and run the ls command, And if I go to my node chart, okay, so now we have update this files, file.yaml file, and then deployment.yaml files, and service.yaml file, right? So we need to push this node chart into our GitLab repository, right here. So how to push? So go to the repository. Now here we visit repository, right? So here click on code and clone and copy the HTTPS. Let's let's clone here. So as you know the command git clone and paste the HTTPS. So it will ask username. So my username will be DevOps and the password for my GitLab repository. Okay, so if I run the ls command, as you can see, our repository. So let's inside our repository, the ls command. So as you can see, our files. Okay, that means we have successfully cloned our repository. So now we need to copy this node chart and paste in our deploy. Paste in our repository. That means deploy Helm chart on EKS. So let's copy this folder of our node chart, node app chart. So the command is like this. So first of all, let's enter cd, and the command is like this: sudo cp hyphen r, then your chart name, that folder name that we have to copy. So our folder name is chart. Then dot slash and that folder name that we need to paste. So our folder name is deploy Helm chart on EKS using GitLab CI CD. Then click on enter. Okay. Now let's inside our repository and run the ls command. So as you can see, node chart folder. That means we have successfully copied, paste. Now let's push this code into our repository. So how to push? So the command is git dot then git commit -m, and in double quote our commit. So our commit will be helm chart. Let's enter. Sorry, git. Sorry. Git commit -m helm chart added. Okay. Okay, it's done. Now the next step is okay. Let's change the commit chart added. Okay. Now let's push this code using git push. So username is DevOps and the password of our GitLab. So yes, it's done. So let's go to the repository and let's check and let's refresh the page here. So yeah, you can see our folder name node chart. If I go to my folder node chart, so you can see we have successfully added, right? Okay. Now Okay. So now here, let's add variables now, right? Here in this step, add variables. So let's add the variables. So how to add? So go to the settings, then go to the CI CD, and then click on variables. Expand and let's add. So let's add variables. So first of all, the variable name is CI deploy user. So let's check for your CI GitLab CI.yaml file CI deploy user, right? So our CI deploy user will be our access token username, right? Deploy token username, and remove this protect variable flag and click on add variable. Now the next variable is CI deploy password. CI deploy password. We need to be careful when we add our variables. So here is a variable name CI deploy password. Then our password, that means token is here. Remove protect variable flag and click on add variable. Now the next is CI registry. So how to find registry? That means the URL. I told you, go to the deploy, then go to the container registry, and that's our registry, right? That's our URL. So I'm going to copy and paste in registry. Then click on remove product variable flag, add mix. Okay, so it's done, right? We have successfully added three variables. Okay. So now it's done. Now the next step is create GitLab CI.yaml file using this code. So let's create. So go to the build, sorry, code repository, and now click on create new file. And file will be GitLab CI.yaml file. Now let's copy the code from here and let's scroll down to here. Right. Okay. So let's copy and paste here. So let's understand. So first of all, here repository DevOps int image tag latest group context. Here we need to add this URL from here to here. Right. That means our URL. And then colon and sample. That means our agent name, right? So the syntax is like this: our repository URL colon then our agent name, right? You can see here variable cube context project name then agent name, right? You can see the project name first of all, and then colon agent name. Then default here Docker information stages, Docker build, Docker push, then deploy to EKS, right? So you can see first of all Docker login, CI deploy user that we have successfully added variables, CI deploy password, CI registry. Then first of all build our CI registry, right? Then push to registry. You can see Docker login, CI deploy user, CI deploy password, registry, then Docker push, CI registry. Now, the next is deploy to EKS. Right, so first of here you can see we are going to use this image with the tag latest. Now, before script kubectl config use context and kube context. Here we have added these variables. Then script kubectl apply -f node app.yaml file. So here we need to change this node app.yaml file, right? Which file? So here if I go to this, you can see here we are going to install this Helm chart, right? So we need to replace this script with this script. Install node app and our folder name, that means our chart name is node chart, right? That's our chart name. Here if I run the ls command, our chart name is node chart, right? So here dot node chart. So let's remove this. Help install node app dot slash node chart, right? So here we are going to install helm chart on this our node chart, that means our helm chart, right? Okay, now let's commit changes. Let's check for once. Okay, it's done, right? Yeah, it's done. Now let's click on commit changes. Now this is our pipeline, it's pending now. So let's check. Now our pipeline will fail. See why? Because here we need a Docker. We need to install Docker on our GitLab runner. Because here we are going to use these Docker build and so on. So we don't have Docker, right? So that's why we will have an error. You can see the error. So let's check why our pipeline is failed. You can see Docker not found. So let's install Docker first. So if I enter Docker images, you can see the command to install Docker. So let's install Docker using this command. So yes, I want to install. So after that, after installing Docker, we need to give some permissions. Which permissions? If you skip this, then you will have a error. So we need to give some permissions. So which permissions? So first of all here we need to give this chmod, otherwise we need to give this first to user, and then we need to give this chmod command permission. If you skip these steps, then we will have error again. Okay, okay, it's done. Now let's run our pipeline. of pipeline. So now you can see it's running. So click on build image and let's check the steps. So okay, you can see job succeed. That means we have successfully built our Docker image. Now let's check the second job, Docker push. So it's running. So you can see it's running. So wait for few seconds. So you can see it's running. Wait for few seconds. So as you can see, our push to registry stage job succeed. That means we have successfully pushed this image to our registry, right? So let's check the deploy to EKS step. So as you can see, it's running. So let's check. So as you can see, it's also done. You can see the job succeed, help install node app, node chart. You can see deploy status, deploy the revision one, and the name is node app, last deploy date and timing, and so on the details, right? So it's done. Now let's check here. So let's enter the command to check kubectl get pods. You can see the running and the name node app, node chart, and the status is running ready to one of one. Then let's check the deploy kubectl get deploy. So you can see it's also running available one, update one, ready one of one. Now let's check the service. So you can see the node app chart, the type is load balancer, and the cluster IP and external IP. So here we need to copy this external IP to access our browser, and let's check our browser. So here, if we access our image, that means we have successfully deployed this node app chart to our EKS, right? So let's check. So you can see we have successfully accessed. As I told you, we will access the browser, accessing browser hello world image, right? So hello world you can see. That means we have successfully deployed this Helm chart on EKS, AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD, right? You can see here we have used this chart, node app chart, right? So it's done, you can see, right? So we have successfully deployed this image. So in this session, we have learned how to deploy node app chart. That means, sorry, in this session, we have learned how to deploy Helm chart on AWS EKS using GitLab CI CD. So thank you for watching.